Thank you for watching today's Critical Thought, your daily bite-sized discussion of game design, courtesy of GameWisdom.com. Hi, this is Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com. Welcome to today's Critical Thought. First, thank you to 686 subscribers here on YouTube. Hope you're enjoying the content here, and we can hit 700. I have a little treat planned. Before we get to today's Critical Thought, just a special announcement. New playlist should be up by the time you're watching this video, and that is a new how-to guide for the Darkest Dungeon. The first one was one of the most popular videos here on the YouTube channel, and I figure with the game coming out for the console as of I think tomorrow, I'm doing a quick let's play running through the basics, how to play the game, how to use the Hamlet, what's combat like, etc. So if you'd like to see more Darkest Dungeon, or have some friends trying out for the first time who may need some help, be sure to point them to that playlist. As for today's Critical Thought, we are talking about the use of fair use and fan-made games. This is based on today's post, which should be hopefully somewhere over here right now. As you know, fair use, chances are if you're watching this on YouTube, you've seen a famous YouTuber celebrity probably make a post about it. And fair use is the protection that content creators can use when they are using someone else's copyrighted work in a limited capacity. It's what protects me every day from making pieces on Game Wisdom and having like screenshots like that up there. Now, recently Nintendo took down two fan-made games, another Metroid 2 and Pokemon Uranium. Fans have, blasted Nintendo saying they're going after the little guy. Defenders of Nintendo say that they're just stopping someone's misappropriation of an IP, and it's another one of those very tricky issues. So I want to talk a little bit more about fair use and what it means for developers and consumers alike. Now I'm going to have to pull up my little page here, 1 second. When it comes to fair use, there are 4 key determining factors that are used. The first one is the purpose and character of the person's use. What this means simply is, what am I using this IP for? Am I making an instructional video for kids? Am I trying to sell this or pass off as my own? These are the obvious questions here. The point is, depending upon what you're using the IP for, has a major impact on whether it's considered fair use. It's why it's okay for me to use this image right here, because I'm using this as an example for a piece talking about the game industry. If I was simply making a 30-minute video showing nothing but Super Mario Galaxy 2 and, getting monetized for it, that wouldn't be fair use. The second point, the nature of the copyrighted work. Again, this is what am I using essentially? What is the purpose or what is the actual content? Again, a screenshot, like what's up there, is far different from me literally taking Super Mario Galaxy 2, putting it on this channel, and saying give me money for it. Likewise, if I take, let's say, the jump ability, the spring jump from Super Mario Galaxy 2. If I take that mechanic and put it in my game and use it for my character, that would be different from me literally taking that power-up, the animation, the sound aspects, the Mario noise he makes when he jumps, and putting it in my game. This is where the difference between, let's say, having a power-up like the screw attack from Super Metroid versus literally taking the art, the sound, and even the model of Samus Aran doing that and using it for my game. This is where the idea that if you start taking someone else's sprites, their level design, their music, whatever, you're not going to get fair use here. The third, and this is similar, the amount and substantiality of the portion taken. This is I think what we just said. How much am I actually taking? Again, the difference between simply giving a power-up that makes your character bigger versus literally taking the mushroom sprite and putting it in your game. Again, when it comes to fair use, what you're taking and its own and how much are usually the two big factors. Now, the third big factor when we said the first case was, of course, the purpose. And what that also means is whether it's free for everyone or if you're paying. Again, if I'm charging people and I'm using someone else's IP without getting their permission, fair use gone. You are liable. Now, the fourth one, and this is what is sort of going to be a part of our discussion today with the fan-made games, is the effect of the use upon the potential market. What that means is, am I making something that's going to compete with this IP? If I name my channel after Nintendo, if I say this is the Super Mario YouTube channel, and say that I'm officially from Nintendo when I have no legal claims for it, it doesn't matter if this channel is free for everyone to use. I am infringing on someone else's copyright. Likewise, if I start naming my videos after Super Mario characters, or if I rename Game Wisdom to be, I don't know, the official site for Naughty Dog's Uncharted series. Again, these are extreme cases, but as we've seen with the fan-made games, it can also come back to bite them. So, with those 4 points of fair use, unfortunately, we can see where Nintendo is in the legal right. The second that these modders name their games after a Nintendo brand, that ended it. The discussion is over. That's not so much, tripping over your own feet as it is pulling a pin in a hand grenade and holding it for 10 seconds. The second you name your brand or your game after someone else's brand, fair use goes out the window regardless of the impact or what you're using it for or the purpose. The I Wanna Be This series, which is a fan-made collection of super challenging platforming, gets around and uses fair use for several reasons. The first one is, quite frankly, the fact that it's all original gameplay. Anything that you see in I Wanna Be the Guy, you're not going to find that in a Nintendo game or any classic game. Now, they do use the exact pixels and graphics from these classic games, but they are transforming it into something original. And that's another part of fair use, the transformative factor, which we will talk about a little bit more in the next minute. The other point, it is fan-made, so there is no money involved, so the purpose isn't to make money. And lastly, the impact on the market. The I Wanna Be the Guy series, or the I Wanna Be the series, isn't exactly known among mainstream gamers. I'm pretty sure Nintendo may not even be aware of its existence. So if someone types I Wanna Be the Guy in, there will be no mistaking that for being a game from Nintendo or Sega or Sony or any other game or property that has those sprites in it. And that's pretty much how they get around it. Now, the transformative factor, and this is another big one, and it has to do with the purpose and character of the person's use, is a very simple thing. Am I taking this IP and doing something completely unique, something completely original with it? If I am, and I'm not, getting paid or I'm not charging people for it, then I can cite fair use. So again, with using stuff like that, even though that is an image from a Nintendo game, that is Nintendo's copyright, I am transforming it by using it in this video talking about fair use. Same thing with Let's Plays. Someone can do a Let's Play of XCOM or Darkest Dungeon or whatever, and by adding their own insight and commentary, they are transforming it. This Let's Play is beyond what would be the original IP. And that's where fair use is most often used, especially on YouTube. So, here's a little test for you then. I'm going to describe for you a game idea, and I want you to let me know when I lose the fair use argument. Alright, here it comes. My game idea is Super Frog Brothers. Or, I'm sorry, how about just Frog Brothers, starring Marco and Leonard. There are two frogs that are in an underground kingdom, and they must save Princess Tadpole from the evil Blarner, who is a giant crocodile. The two brothers have to go through a variety of platforming levels where they will bounce on enemies' heads, and they have to get to the end of the stage. While they're playing, they can pick up a dandelion, which will give them the power-up of shooting a little fireball, let's say it's the color blue, out of their mouths. They'll also change color from a green to, let's say, a bluish hue while they have this power-up. At the end of each world, or each set of levels, they have to fight Blarner in the castle, where they'll have to get around him or defeat him. And of course, when they get to the end of the game, they will save Princess Tadpole. So, I'll give you a second, take a sip of soda, and let you figure it out. If you want to pause the video now, please do so. If you'd like to play some music around, you can do that as well. So, did you figure it out? The answer is it's a trick question. None of that would lose, every part of that would be considered fair use. Now, obviously, what I just described sounds very, very similar to Mario. But everything in this game would still be 100% original. Original models, original levels. Even though the idea of Princess Tadpole and Princess Toadstool are similar, using completely different models, using completely different animations and music, you can say that I am transforming it. My game is inspired by Mario, but there is no way you could consider this another Mario game, or see it as being a game from Nintendo. And thereby I am transforming it. Now, it's what a lot of developers say when their games are inspired by someone else. You can say your game is like Super Meat Boy. It could be a punishing platformer. But if you're using original sprites, level design, music, art, etc., then you are within fair use. Now, with that said, though, there are some abstract elements that I can't take. If I use any level design elements from Mario, I'm talking literally copying like World 1, 2 and putting in my game with different assets or reversing or whatever, then if someone found that out, I would be held liable for fair use. Now, another part of this is the use of mods. And modding has always been considered, or has been given a leeway, and for two important reasons. The first is that mods have to be attached to a game. So there is no confusion as to what this mod is. Or you're never going to confuse a fan-made mod for official content in Skyrim or Fallout or whatever. The second thing is because mods are free, there is no money being exchanged, with exception to the first sale from buying that game. Now, that leads to a very interesting aside regarding the Steam Workshop last year and selling Steam mods. But that in of itself is another critical thought. So this is why it's okay to have a Mario hat option, or feature Macho Man Randy Savage as a dragon in Skyrim, as even though these are IPs, there is no money being exchanged, it's being transformed, and it's being part of another game. So there is no way you're going to confuse this as being from Nintendo or the WWE. In some cases, and what we're going to talk about with the fan-made mod or the fan-made games now, this can lead to some big things. The Long War from XCOM, which was a complete gameplay conversion developed by modders over the span of a few years, completely redid XCOM, and Firaxis not only loved it, they used the concepts and the ideas for XCOM 2, and even invited the modders, who are now called Long War Studios, to they actually made paid mods, or I'm sorry, they got paid to make mods for XCOM 2. and they're now considered official mods for that game. Now that is the best circumstance. The modders are being welcomed open arms by the content creators and are being used, to help further the game. That is the consumer-minded way of dealing with these kinds of issues. Now, getting back to what Nintendo did with another Metroid and Pokemon Uranium, they were 100% within the legal right. As I said, when you name your game no matter what after another brand, you are basically starting the time mob. But what they did from a consumer point of view is where there's a problem. As I said in my post, there you go, what Nintendo should have done is welcome these guys onto the platform. Brand them, fan-inspired games, sell them for a few bucks on the Virtual Console or the Wii U store, and, they have more content. Not only that, but the point of another Metroid 2 was the fact that there was no new Metroid game for the 30th anniversary. So, this was essentially a way for Nintendo, if they did it within the consumer mind way, to get a win-win. They would have gotten more content, they would have help these fans out and give them a bigger name, and everyone would have been happy. Unfortunately, they didn't do that, and as we've seen, Nintendo has definitely had some trouble with public perception, especially with the monetization of their games on YouTube. But again, that's another critical thought, and we are running late as it is. So to wrap it up, fair use is a very tricky thing, and once again is that quagmire of IP laws with games. It's probably going to be another discussion we're going to keep having as the decade rounds out, and we'll just have to see what happens from here. As with the two games, I hope we can see them in some capacity, but at this point it's anyone's guess. So thanks so much for watching today's Critical Thought. If you're wanting to see more Darkest Dungeon, be sure to check that out with the new How To Play series here. And once again, I'm Josh Bycer from Game Wisdom. I will see you all tomorrow with another Critical Thought and more great video content here and posts on GameWisdom.com. Have a great day, folks. Thanks for watching the video, everybody. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment, of course, share with your friends. It always helps out. Check out Game-Wisdom.com, where I examine the art and science of games. You can follow me on Twitch and Twitter under GW Bycer for the latest updates of new content. And be sure to check out our Patreon campaign. You can find us on Patreon under Game Wisdom if you would like to donate and help contribute to keeping Game Wisdom going. Your donations can not only give us the monthly funding we need to keep supporting ourselves, but if we can hit some goals, it will mean more great content for you, and there are some nifty little rewards there as well. Thanks for watching this video, and be sure to tune into the next one real soon.